Hi everyone, Joe here and welcome back to another video. Hope everyone's doing really well. We've got something new today. This isn't a vlog per se, not even a vlog remotely at all actually. What we're doing is we are going to be reviewing scenes from TV shows that involve cancer. Now, you might think, why? Well, cancer is often used in media and entertainment as a way of simply portraying a character as being sick and then kind of being shown off, them being recovery, them having a tough time, and generally seen as almost like a, hey, let's throw in something that's bad that's going to happen to this sick character or this family, and then we're going to ship it off for entertainment purposes. Now, here's the thing. Cancer is going to happen to 1 in 2 people in the world. Simple fact. As life expectancies go up, the chances increase even higher. Now, does that mean it should be entertainment? I don't know. But if it is going to be in entertainment, what it should be is accurate and hopefully reflect the true experiences. Now, as a cancer patient, I have a series of experiences involving cancer, as I'm sure you can imagine, from diagnosis to treatment to progression to, at certain points, partial treatment working and all that kind of thing. So I've got a bit of an insight, and I thought it'd be interesting for me to give it. Now, chances are, if you're watching this and you've had cancer, your experiences will be different. So I am interested in hearing them in the comment section, so leave me a comment. Also, if there are other TV shows or films, and in particular this is going to be fictional media, I'm not so interested in biographical stuff, because that's real. That's actual people's lives. Who am I to comment on whether it's accurate or not? But media, when it comes to fiction, 100% we can pile in on that, can't we? So yeah, leave me a comment and let me know if there's something in particular you want me to have a look at. So like I've mentioned, we're taking a look at, in particular today, The Midnight Club from Netflix. Now, the main character is a young girl who actually has papillary thyroid cancer. So thyroid cancer is something I might know a little bit about. So I figured we'd start off strong and go from there. I was made aware of this on a group that I'm a member of, that maybe it's a little bit inaccurate in places. So this is something that we can have a look at. Will we be reviewing it in a similar fashion to the way that I review my own stuff? Yeah, we will. I'm not going to be necessarily commenting on the directorial side of things or the cinematography side of things. Let's just assume they're good. We're going to be focusing mainly on the cancer side of things, the information, and the representation of the experience. And we'll go from there. We're going to be starting off following the main character, like I said, and hopefully we'll be looking at her diagnosis and kind of discovery of the disease, which is quite a horrible thing, really. Actually, it's not particularly pleasant when it happens. So we will get ourselves in and we will have a look. There is some music in there. Small reminder: this is for review purposes and is transformative content, just in case anyone's wondering. It's classed as that. Let's get into it, shall we? Now, we can see her drinking a bottle of water, to mention this, at a party. That's how we know she's healthy. You see, she's a healthy person because she's drinking water at a party. There's something else that they often do. Thyroid cancer isn't caused or related to alcohol whatsoever.
I don't know why they need 6 types of rum over there and no water.
Yeah, half the water bottles in the kitchen are being used as ashtrays.
So you pacing yourself or you winding down?
I'm waiting for my friend. She's busy. I think she's trying to make a couple mistakes.
I'm Brian.
Alanka.
So we've kind of established that she's a sensible friend. That's fine.
I don't think I've seen you around.
I've kept to myself most of the year.
What's your major?
English.
Me too.
You don't say.
Good product placement.
What were some of your favorite classes this year?
I'm gonna go with romantic and Victorian literature. Yeah, I know that sounds like a line.
It sounds like a lie.
But it isn't.
No, I know it isn't. I do. Romance and terror in the age of Victorian England. That was one of my options for my senior thesis.
One of your options?
Fascinating.
See, I'm a sucker for Oscar Wilde. A little meh on Stevenson. I mean, still love, just polite love. My favorite is Shelley. Mary, not her husband.
So obviously she's a very intelligent person. She's got a lot of future ahead of her. she's at college. I assume this means she's at college. Which would put her, what? And also she's talking about thesis and the end. So, end of college. So, what, like 21, 22? So like 20, that kind of age. So, very, very young, is what I'll mention, to be getting any form of cancer. Very young indeed.
Mary Shelley, the teenage girl who wrote Frankenstein? A teenage girl did that. She was 19 when she became the mother of modern horror. I mean, she wrote the first major work in the science fiction genre. Frankenstein is not only the first creation story to use science that way, but to deal with the ethics of experiment and experimenter. Sorry, that's why I went with Shakespeare for my thesis. I tend to ramble when I get going on Shelley.
Jesus. Where have you been all semester?
Oh, cheesy.
So tell me about you. What are some of your favorite... Excuse me.
Okay. Coughing.
Here.
Right. Let's stop here. We already know that she has papillary thyroid cancer before she does. We're kind of living in the future, knowing these things. I will mention that coughing up blood is not a symptom of thyroid cancer. Having a bit of a slight cough, a clearance cough in the throat can be, but coughing up blood, unless you're exceptionally advanced, like for example, personally I've got thyroid cancer spread throughout my lungs, innumerable tumours, all over the place, and I have never coughed up blood, ever. So this is an odd symptom to show. Like, it lets you know. I can see why stylistically they might have chosen it, because you're looking at the fact that when someone coughs up blood, you know they're very sick and something's very wrong. That's an indicator. It's one of those things of, right, they've got cancer, how can we make everyone know that something's really wrong with them? It's the same with, if someone has a brain tumour, they always give them a nosebleed. It's the same kind of thing. So let's carry on and see if they show us any other symptoms, because her neck looks fine. And that's the important thing, is that it's a lump in the neck is the most common symptom of thyroid cancer. And you don't just stop coughing up blood either. Like, it's not a one-off thing. You don't cough up blood and then just stop. Ooh, okay. Ah, yes, it's a horror TV show. I remember. Fainting is not part of having thyroid cancer either. It's again another very easy way to communicate that someone is ill and someone is sick. Not necessarily accurate, but a very easy way of communicating it.
Alonka, did you hear me?
Ah, doctor's office.
Sorry, I was just, I'm sorry. I'm just distracted. Can you say the name again? Like the name, can you say the real name again, please?
Papillary thyroid carcinoma.
Right. Thyroid cancer. You said treatable?
It can be. We need to know more.
Right. British doctors will say, yes, very treatable. It's one of the best types of cancer to get. And that's something that a lot of thyroid cancer patients would have heard, is it's one of the best types to have. Also, papillary is in fact one of the most curable and most treatable types of thyroid cancer, followed by follicular, then medullary, and then we're on to our poorly differentiated and anaplastic, which, as you kind of go down the list, their treatability drops massively when you hit poorly differentiated and anaplastic, although there are lots of new treatments coming out for both of them. The shock factor that they're kind of showing feels pretty accurate to me. You have that nervous energy, you don't know what to do, you're like, oh crap, what's happened? I can't believe this. And then you go, right, thyroid cancer. It's pretty much what I was like. But we need to know more. Well, if you know it's papillary thyroid cancer, you you know what it is. Like, your immediate jump will be go to what the treatment options are, which would normally be radioactive iodine. I don't know what time space is set in, actually. I think this is set in the 90s. So radioactive iodine has actually been in use since 1942. That's a long time, and you'd think we'd come up with something better by now. We're working on it, apparently, but it's very curative. It's very curative as a treatment, normally.
The biopsy results tell me we should do an immediate thyroidectomy and start
Accurate.
you on radioactive iodine treatment.
Yeah.
You want to remove my thyroid?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to Stanford in the fall. Stanford. If we start this now, will it be finished before the semester starts?
It's hard to say. We should just schedule the thyroidectomy.
So, just walk me through the worst case. Worst case, just paint a picture. I mean, talking about it is the best way to make sure it doesn't happen, isn't it?
Interesting. I was very similar. I was like, what's worst case scenario? Because I want to know the worst case, because anything else is better. So anything else, therefore, if you drop your expectations to absolute zero, you can then go look at it, look back on it at least, and be like, hey, well, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Probably not the best way to look at things, but from logically in my head, I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. I found out on my own. I went because none of us thought it'd be cancer, so I went on my appointment to find out on my own. Because why'd I worry about it? You know, people my age, and that was at 32, and also being male, didn't get thyroid cancer. It's thyroid cancer is like no. It's older ladies get that. At least the statistics show. And obviously I was wrong. Obviously they were wrong. Stats mean nothing. Everyone's an individual. It's as simple as that. Especially her being so young and having thyroid cancer is exceptionally rare. Exceptionally rare. Also, again, you're looking at her neck. They didn't bother to put a lump in there, which they kind of could have done, I feel like.
Am I gonna need chemo?
Oh, kiddo, let's not go there.
Alanka, there are a lot of steps between here and chemo.
Chemo is not even a step. More importantly, chemotherapy is almost never used in thyroid cancer, except for anaplastic. And that's because anaplastic is really fast growing, and chemotherapy works on fast growing cells. Cancer, aggressive cancer. It doesn't really work on papillary thyroid cancer, follicular or medullary. It just doesn't really work, and it's really used as an absolute last resort, and they call it salvage chemotherapy, where they've exhausted everything. Now, in the 90s, they only had radioactive iodine and surgery as options. They don't have the fancy TKIs that we do now, targeted therapies, immunotherapy. These things weren't really an option. So it is like your absolute last resort. But often not used, because it doesn't extend your life meaningfully or at all, versus the amount of damage it does.
Are the odds in my favor?
It's not quite that simple.
Yes, it is.
I was...
It literally is. If you're talking about odds, it's very much simply, and doctors do tell you it is in your favour when it comes to thyroid cancer. They shouldn't, I guess, is something to take away from that.
number 2 in a class of 900. Youngest in my class, too. I mean, I skipped a year to get here. I was in the top 0.2%. I'm good with odds. I got this.
God, that's weird. Very similar things. Very similar. We're talking about odds. Is that mine, for example, is I should have got thyroid cancer at my age. The percentage of people that get cancer, 50%. The percentage of people that get thyroid cancer, suddenly 5%. So 5% to 50%. Then people who were of my age that get it, single digit numbers. People that then got poorly differentiated. Again, because I've done this, I've done that math, I've done it, I've sat there and I've worked it out, and it doesn't help. It really doesn't help you at all. Like, you find yourself in that situation. Well, you're in that situation, you've got to deal with it. Damn the odds. This isn't Hunger Games. You got to deal with what you've got.
Happy birthday, dear Alonka. Happy birthday.
Alright, so she's 18.
To you.
Right. I've been through treatment, and I've never sat in hospital on my birthday. Ever. I've never been admitted to hospital for a long period of time, long enough that people would come, including the doctor, and sing happy birthday to me. That seems really odd.
What am I supposed... I mean, the candles aren't lit.
Well, hospitals aren't exactly in love with open flames, so...
Okay.
So they've got her thyroidectomy scar, which is a little bit higher than most. Most of them are further down, because it's better for it to be hidden as part of your neck crease. Which one you have kind of... I'm a little bit washed out here, light-wise, but when you put it down, it kind of hides it. Her having darker skin means that the scar will often be more prominent, and also more prone to keloid scarring, which is something that those with darker skin can suffer from more than those with light skin.
Yay!
Celebrating birthdays is also a very strange thing to do when you're sick, and when you're really sick and you're really ill. You don't know how you feel about birthdays. Are they a milestone? Or are they a goalpost you've dragged yourself through? Are they a celebration of life? For me, I've always felt very reflective on my birthdays, not knowing if it's going to be the last one or not. And that's been for the last 4 years, not knowing. So, luckily, I've never had any of them in hospital, especially like this. I've always gone out and had a lovely meal. It's what we've done, and it's been great.
Wait, don't you have an install today?
It's, no, this is more important.
Don't lose another job for me.
This is more important.
How is it?
Honestly, college is easier than high school. I mean, less bullshit and more things that actually matter.
Tim, can I borrow you?
So, how are things with you?
Well, the food is shit, and my foster dad is my only friend.
Oh, it's a foster dad.
But there is an orderly that has the hots for me, though.
Is he cute?
Ugh, I'd rather die. So, I win. Look, I gotta go, but
Cool.
thanks for calling. It means a lot.
Definitely in the 90s. No mobile phones. Oh, that would suck. That would
Tumors
suck.
in her
exceptionally.
lungs didn't respond the way we'd hoped.
So we do it again, another round.
Another round isn't going to make a difference at this point.
No, so you're saying she's terminal.
Okay, so they haven't made it clear what treatment she's had here. They haven't made it clear if it's chemotherapy or radioactive iodine. That she's been through it. So she's had treatment. She doesn't have hair. So to me, that has to be chemotherapy. Radioactive iodine doesn't make your hair fall out. Especially not to that extreme. Some people get a little bit of thinning, like a tiny amount, like a little bit of extra loss when they're brushing their hair, but not this. Like not this. And they're talking about the tumours in her lungs. So, as we know, I have that. And talking about not responding the way it should be. Now, if it's radioactive iodine, you do not have to stay in hospital for that. Especially, there is no reason why you would. It just wouldn't make sense for you to do that, because your immune system is not lowered. It doesn't make your hair fall out. It doesn't compromise your immune system. It doesn't make you feel sick. Like, you stay in hospital for a couple of days, in a radioactive room. I have a vlog about that specifically on my channel, and this means that we have to have jumped a lot of steps, but this hasn't been communicated. And this is something that happens in media, is they rapidly condense the treatment timeline. In 9 months, for her to go to diagnosis to bald in hospital, looking like she's been through chemo, she's had surgery. So you have your surgery, okay, even if they did the day after, you then have to wait a month and a half before you can have radioactive iodine. Then it takes you at least a couple of months to even know if radioactive iodine has worked at all. So suddenly, let's say we've got 3 months, 6 months from this point, they would typically do radioactive iodine more than once if there's any uptake whatsoever, which with papillary, normally there would be. So this conversation here between the doctor and the father, which wouldn't be happening in a corridor in a hospital to begin with, it would be happening in a clinic appointment. You sat there with, whoever you want to, with your doctor, talking about it, or they give you the results.
Yes.
Also, she's 18, they wouldn't be telling her father first. They'd be telling her at the same time, or her first. This is a massive no-no right now, because she is the patient. She should know first. She shouldn't be overhearing it in a corridor. This doesn't happen.
How long?
It's tough to say.
It's tough to fucking hear too, Doc. Give it a try.
I'd really prefer not to. Everyone is different, and it's...
She's 18 years old today. Could she make it to 19?
Yes, she could. It's possible. Yes.
They don't give timescales. They don't really give timescales in situations like this. They give it is measured in as an answer. It's measured in months. Or the survival rate at this point is normally measured in months. That's what they say. Or they go, it's measured in years. But they can't give you will you make it to your next birthday? Yes, it's possible, yes. Because it sounds like she's giving him this hope. And doctors are, in a sense, supposed to give hope, but not like this, where they can't guarantee, or they can't, such and such doctor said I'd make it till I was 19. Oh shit, now you're in trouble. Especially in America, land of the lawyer.
And 20?
They're basically giving her a year to live. But they've not told us what treatment she's had. They said they'd do the radioactive iodine. Said that will she have to have chemo or not? Oh my goodness. It is definitely set in the 90s. Who hasn't Googled it, not Yahoo'd it? There's so little out there at this point in time on the internet that it must be a real struggle to find information. Okay, part of the horror thing. It's a horror-y thing. So she's starting to look up a hospice, which is end of life when you can't be looked after at home. It's not necessarily something that you would look at, Google it as like a way to treat your cancer or survive it. The question is, are we past it? Yeah, we are. Right, I think we're stopping there, because I think we are past what would be classed as the medical bit, or at least the diagnosis and that initial piece of medical information that we get. And next on, we're moving to that whole kind of, I'd say, midnight club horror part. So, honestly, looking at it from me, there's some incorrect information in there and incorrect delivery of information. So we've got incorrect symptoms shown with the coughing up blood, the fainting, Then we've also got lack of lump in the throat, lack of lump being shown. Probably incorrect placing of scarring as well. Scars typically aren't up here. I mean, they can be, but at least in the UK we like to do them lower down. Like mine is right here, and obviously then runs up. Sorry, mirror image helps, doesn't it? And then you can see it runs up. So it's a very different kind of. That doesn't seem right. Also, the treatment timescales don't necessarily match up. The whole, you have radioactive iodine, you can have that between 3 to 4 months, and there's only enough time for her to have had it once before they've given up on it completely. I don't know if that seems correct, and also the fact we find out that it's spread within diagnosis. Now that happened to me again. This is exceptionally rare, and maybe this is why I'm so bothered by it. But yeah, so that she's been diagnosed immediately with thyroid cancer. It's already spread to her lungs, and they go tumours, multiple, which is rare. If you've not got a huge lump in your neck, then the chances of you having lots and lots of tumours is probably also then reduced. Not minimum, not like 0, but reduced. So she had the surgery, she had the radioactive iodine, which they would have done more than once, and then she's got no hair, which assumes she must have had chemo. But if she's had chemotherapy, she's still got eyebrows though, and you do your eyebrows thin and you lose them a little bit. So it's a little bit these things where don't quite match up. So it's, again, I don't feel like it's accurately portrayed certain aspects of cancer. The character reaction, good, accurate. You feel that way. You start running the numbers. If you're like me, you've got this logic head on, and you start running numbers. But the doctor giving the terminal diagnosis at night on their birthday in the corridor, where she's not present to her father or a foster father in this case, doesn't seem accurate. So I'm not doing a ranking system for this. I don't think I am. But I'm not impressed with it. I think it's inaccurate. This could have been, even from the 90s, inaccurate. The treatment's been so similar for 75 years. Why would it suddenly change? And why would they suddenly change the way everything they get looked at? Don't know. But interesting to watch. Troubling. Bothering. There's a lot of it in media. A lot of cancer in media. And I don't necessarily agree with it. Now, have I just turned a 5-minute clip into a 30-minute video? I have. I'm really sorry for that. Didn't know how this was going to go as a first video in this series. But if you find it interesting and you do think there's something out there that does show accurately, throw it in the comment section, or poorly, throw it in the comment section and let me know. Also, if you did like the video, make sure you like and subscribe. More vlogs coming soon, as well as some other things that we're going to be taking a look at as I continue to review my journey. But right, once again, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye.